Hey, hi everybody. We're live now. We've
Um,
just been discussing all kinds of fun topics,
Child pornography
like
and all.
child pornography and teachers
Challenge,
being inappropriate with students and the
and somehow
Challenger disaster.
somehow the Challenger disaster worked its way into all of that.
It's always a Challenger's disaster when callers around, and we're and it's like a kind of call as well too.
Can
But
we
like,
Yeah,
can we
exactly.
change the subject before I start subbing?
Please, yes, we will
Yes,
change.
yes.
Actually, well, let's do this. Let's change the
wait,
subject.
Isaiah,
Isaiah's hand has been up since long before we went live. And
No.
Isaiah, you said you wanted to show off your holiday loot, so go for
I
it.
did, and actually for this group specifically for you, Steve,
Oh,
I took you and I think Edie's advice
okay.
and bought.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. Yes.
Sweet.
Nice.
Man of
nice.
Steel.
Yes. You did
Yeah.
it. You did it.
I bought that.
And
So I-
is
Yes.
that the
Hold it
the
up one more time, please.
It's kind of a glare, so it may be hard to see.
Yeah. Yes, Man of Steel. Yes. You did
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
I'm
that's the
so
John. That's
proud
the
of
that
you.
has the original John Byrne miniseries, right? And then
Yes.
plus like
Yes.
his
Kind of see it.
that's a good one. That's a good
That's a
one.
good one.
I
Yeah,
have to
I don't-
confess,
yeah.
I didn't see it immediately. So when I heard the words "Man of Steel" and then it cut to Steve's face, it looked like disappointment. So I thought it was
Oh, the
like a
comics,
movie.
yeah, not the movie, the comics, yeah, the comics.
And then I got yesterday a friend of mine know how much I love Star Trek. So he bought me, so he gave me the TNG movies.
Oh, nice. On DVD.
Oh yeah,
Ooh, Blu-ray, yeah,
Lie
nice.
down, lie down.
The most surprising thing there is that you didn't already have this.
Oh, I'm not a diehard.
That's funny.
He doesn't make like video essays every month and stuff like that, so we can forgive Isaiah for like not owning the Blu-rays yet. Oh, and like
Yeah.
that's Deep Space Nine.
Deep
you
Space
have.
Nine, nice.
3, and then I'm gonna try my hand at a little Babylon 5.
Oh, there you go.
I've never seen before.
That's good stuff.
Now all the gifts didn't work out all too well. I bought this communicator from the Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
And it's not, the batteries aren't working, even though it's supposed to be new.
Mm.
So
It's hard to have the feelings of Isaiah sort of finally giving up and jumping up and down on it in frustration to get the damn
It's more
thing
fun to
working.
It's more fun to make the noise yourself anyway. To go.
I'm gonna hold to it. I bought a model of a runabout.
Oh, runabout, cool.
Nice.
Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna start building these to sell next year with all the lights in them.
Hell
So-
yeah. Sounds like a nice little side hustle.
Yeah, I'm gonna start selling them to sell. I mean, build them to sell. And then I bought.
To anybody
one-
who's interested, yeah.
Oh,
Don't
Nancy,
tempt
shop,
me,
yeah.
don't tempt me, Isaiah. Just don't.
Okay.
Because
Well-
once my
No,
money
tempt her,
comes,
tempt her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once my money comes through from my mum, I can see me kind of sitting there going, I have
I could use a
10,000.
runabout model.
Yeah, I have
One day.
$10,000. What can I spend it on?
You need your picks.
One day
What
I'm
else you got,
gonna-
Isaiah?
Oh, well, so lastly, I got another thing, but so one more thing, before the next one, I bought these Golden Gate Bridge towers because one day when I have a bigger place, I'm going to try to build a model of Starfleet Command.
Wow.
Oh,
So I-
that's
so-
ambitious.
I was just gonna say that's ambitious.
So I bought the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
Of that. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, hey,
So you're
go
gonna
for it.
create like that whole like classic establishing shot.
Yeah.
We're like,
Basically,
that's
yeah.
great. Where they're like, by the
Yeah.
way, we're in San Francisco.
Lastly, I bought Kirk's tuxedo from Star Trek 4.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I got the belt somewhere, but I gotta redo the buckle. It's like
That's
one of
cool.
those cheap plastic. Uh,
Mhm.
so I gotta get someone to 3D print me one. But I gotta dye this a little bit of a more mauve color.
Mhm.
But yeah, so
I love that. I think it's, and you know, I love that costume because it's like they said, okay, they're not in their uniforms, but we kind of still want Kirk to be in his. So let's just
Mhm.
give him like regular clothes that look a lot like his Starfleet
just give
uniform.
him a space tuxedo. I call it the space tuxedo.
So I have something that I did not get for Christmas. It's just something I got a while ago, and I'd
And I
like to
did
show it off.
donate money to some charities too.
Okay,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, that's cool.
Good for you.
Awesome. So Nick, as
Okay,
you
go
were
for
saying.
it, Nick.
Again, these are not Christmas presents. They're things I've had for a while, but I just wanted to show them off anyway.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Is anybody familiar with
Oh.
the Beast Wars?
I love Beast Wars. I quote that like show a lot as well too. Why do you always enjoy talking to yourself? I immediately enjoy having intelligent conversations.
Yeah, I love how like aristocratic and egotistical this Megatron is.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so like I just think the whole concept of Beast Wars is such an ingenious shakeup, and I rarely see franchises evolve this way. You know, Transformers at the time wasn't doing too well. It seemed like the brand might be dead. So what do? Nobody wants cars and trucks anymore. Let's try animals, but it won't just be an
Yeah.
aesthetic thing. We'll make it part of the lore. Like these ones are much smaller than old school Transformers. They're more like around human sized. And if they land on pre-industrial worlds that don't have cars and trucks, they can just blend in with the local wildlife. And they even made it work on Earth because like they go back in time to prehistoric Earth where the energon, you know, the stuff they need is so rich. There's too much of it in the atmosphere. They can't even step outside without like overloading and shutting down in a few minutes. But Earth's animals have evolved to tolerate this radiation. So they just cover themselves with these synthesized fur coats, and that's why they need their beast modes. That's why they need to turn into animals. And like all this stuff is so ingenious. And I'm just, how often do you see a franchise completely, you know, change itself like that? And I'm sure at the time there were some people who were like, no, I don't want, you know, I don't want Prime to be some monkey. I want him to be a truck.
If they'd arrived like a million years later, they could have taken
Like
this in a
I
really
said in
horrifying
one of my-
direction.
Like I said in one of my questions to Steve, how come kids programs get it right and live action adult programs don't?
Well,
or
you know,
can't?
the thing about
Michael
the thing
Bay.
about the thing that I was just thinking about when Nick was talking about Beast Wars is like, I mean, that's a even if you take into account like, well, Transformers wasn't as popular as it had been, and it was kind of on the decline, and they wanted to reinvent it. Like, that's a pretty radical reinvention. Like that took some guts creatively to be like, okay, we're not doing cars and trucks anymore.
Like,
we're doing
even
animals.
just the idea of taking what were known as giant robots and shrinking them down to our size, so it's you know, their bodies don't use as much energy. Like that was their explanation for it. That's kind of crazy, even without the animal stuff, because people expect them to be huge. Just one other thing. So this is a character you might not know because it wasn't in the CG series. This is another villain. So this is Megatron. He turns into a T-Rex. This is Magmatron, and he is 3 creatures in one. He is combined from a Giganotosaurus, a Quetzalcoatlus, and an Elasmosaurus. And I just love these dinosaur names. They're so darn fun to say.
For the
This guy
Trump
was-
era, they'll do a reboot where they're just robots that don't turn into anything, and they'll just call them formers.
This guy is pretty hardcore because the cartoon that he's from, it just started as the usual, you know, good guys, bad guys conflict. But eventually he realized that Unicron, you know, the giant evil planet from the cartoon movie, was coming back. Ooh. And so he found like Unicron's heralds, his messengers, if you will, and he tried to trap them on some backwater planet. And when he realized he wasn't strong enough to kill them, he ordered his men to pin the 3 down, and then he ordered his ship to like open fire on where they were standing, which would destroy the whole planet. This guy is so hardcore that instead of trying to manipulate or acquire this greater power for himself, he knew it wasn't to be messed with. So he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to kill everybody and myself to stop this evil from coming back.
So,
I have to respect that on some level,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
most villains don't do that.
I just want to inject one thing. Somehow Unicron returned.
That's true.
Yeah, you know, it's probably the funniest dinosaur species name ever to me. Daspletosaurus. It's just.
I wanted it's
The Mexican dinosaur? I don't know. I said that as a Puerto Rican, so yeah, I can't complain too much.
You know,
Okay.
but you know what else that reminds me of? My favorite Greek name, Asclepius. I don't know. It's just, it's so funny that I can't help but crack up a little bit every time I say it. It's one of my favorite names.
Asclepius.
So
Okay,
just
some hands
Okay,
are up.
yeah,
I
just hands.
don't want the hands to pile up too much. So Russell, your hand was up first. Go for it, my friend.
Hey, Steve. First
Hey,
off,
hey.
can you hear me?
Yes,
I
we
can.
Okay, great. Steve, you're a big fan of NYPD Blue, right?
I am. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have joined a podcast kind of that's NYPD Blue related.
Okay.
And anyway, I could use your help if you don't mind.
Okay.
Now, there's a big difference between David Caruso and him wanting to get out and the character of John Kelly, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I'm wanting to write this group the reasons why I think John Kelly should have been wrote out, regardless of David Caruso. Would you agree or disagree?
I mean, it's in hindsight, I would agree because I thought the show got better when Jimmy Smits came on. But I mean, if I didn't know that ahead of time, I mean, I thought Caruso was great in the first season. And if you just judge it by just that first season, I mean, he was the star of the show. Like, it's hard to say, like, yeah, this show would be better if they got rid of him. It turned out it was, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like saying, like, you know, not All in the Family is good, but they should get rid of that Archie Bunker guy. Like, what are you talking about? He's the star of the show. But with NYPD Blue, it turned out it worked out. And like I said, I think the Jimmy Smits years were the best, you know, era of that show. But I mean, going in, it's kind of
the first year, don't they?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But my problem with John Kelly, not so much David Caruso, was his complicit behavior with Janice Likowski.
Yeah.
That's why I think he should have been wrote out.
Well, that's a little, I mean, that's like just because a character does something questionable, that doesn't necessarily mean the character should be written off the show. I mean, it's a dramatic series. It's like, you know, Captain Sisko did something really bad in that episode of Deep Space Nine. They should have written him off. They should have written him off the show for that shit he pulled in The Pale Moonlight. It's like, no, that's it's a drama series. Like you know, like,
oh yeah,
It would be
in
funny
my
to think if
country,
you're taking over.
people who
hang
are
on,
in
what was
soaps.
that? What was that? Hang on. What were you trying to say, Caitlin?
Oh, good, you can hear me. I've spent
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear. Sorry, it's just everybody talks over everybody.
If Sisko got fired and then Kira had to take over, and that was just the rest of the show. He was just gone. The whole rest of the show.
Hey, they crack, you know.
The emissary is no longer with Bajor, but she still has to deal with the war.
He's in prison.
Yeah.
The emissary's in prison, and now it's my space station.
Anyway,
That's basically how the show ended, I guess.
In this country, because we have a lot of soaps like Coronation Street and EastEnders, sometimes the people in the soaps will actually walk the streets. They're often seen in London and where the series of films. And people who've been in trouble or been put in prison, they've actually had, you know, viewers walk up to them and press your money into their hand. This is for your defense. We believe you're innocent. We know that you didn't kill your husband, daughter, significant other. Just tell the truth to your solicitor. We'll support you. And they've often had bagfuls of money delivered to the studio because people actually believe that these characters exist.
Yeah. My grandmother used to have this weird thing where, like, if she saw a man and a woman like together, like on a TV commercial or something, she would always assume that they were married in real life. Like there was one, I remember there were these Howie Long and Terry Hatcher did Radio Shack commercials for a little while. And I remember and I remember one time I was talking to Granny, and I don't know if she was like watching football or somehow the subject of Howie Long came up, and she said, "Have you ever seen his wife? She's really cute." And I said, "I don't think so." And she says, "Yeah, they do Radio Shack commercials together." And I was like, "That's Terry Hatcher. She's not his wife. They're just two people that got hired to do Radio Shack commercials together. They're not married."
I might want to have a little out for your grandmother, wherever she may be.
Okay.
Is that in the time of the Hollywood career, 30s and 40s, the studios would go out of their way,
Hays Code,
to marry people or get them to be seen together outside of.
That's true.
So they would do that a lot, in the magazines, whatever, whether it was true or not, and also to cover certain actors and actresses that were preferred to be with someone else,
Oh, of course.
Wink, wink. Yes.
Yeah, wink, wink, nod, say no more. So that might be where she's getting at. Like, she's used to the idea that she would read a magazine, watch a movie, and then the magazine, so and so are together, and blah blah. They're going out, and like, well, that seems to be the natural thing.
Or some actors like they play to be love interest in that movie, like in Willow. I know that's not your favorite movie, Steve, because it's fantasy and Ron Howard, but Val Kilmer and like Robert Wright Penn were both met on that scene and then got married, and then they had to redo some scenes because it's better once they actually were a couple as well too. So it does happen. So
and and honestly, I had never really thought of that angle before. That like back in the old days. That was done a lot more frequently. Okay. Serious Mind, your hand has been up.
Okay, so
go for it,
I've
buddy.
got one small thing and two bigger things. I had just one big thing, but then during the conversation, I was reminded of some things.
Yeah.
So if you'll indulge me here.
Sure, please.
So the first one, the little thing was, Steve, you mentioned Archie Bunker without Archie Bunker.
Yeah.
And the thing that's kind of sad to me is that people on both the right wing and the left wing misunderstand the character and why he's there in the first place. He is a foil. He is not the hero. He's there to be a proxy for the audience, to show them and expose their bigotry to their face. So he never benefited by his bigotry. He always lost.
Yeah.
And that was it's trying to show that the world is changing and the old ways are not acceptable anymore. And they never should have been.
Yeah.
So that's the little thing. First big thing is that I and Steve as well, in just under 3 months, will be each having at least an hour of the Madness, Mayhem, and Charity, which has come back. MMC used to be about AIDS research. Now it is about defending trans people and sticking up for trans rights. And so that's a big deal. And so I don't know what Steve plans. However, what I'm going to be doing, at least, I may end up getting more than 1 hour, is I'm going to be having a discussion with my friend Heather. Heather's a trans woman, and one drunken night at Origins Game Festival, the group of us were in a bar, and she and I ended up closing down the bar after everybody left. And there were some trans matters that I did not yet fully understand. I'm not even going to say that I fully understand everything, but there was some things I misconceptions that I had, and she was very open and willing to teach somebody who was willing to listen and actually had honest questions and wasn't just trying to be a jerk. And it was really one of my favorite nights ever, because like I said, she was so open and she was so willing to help me understand everything, and again blow away any misconceptions I had. And from that point on,
don't talk over him. Let him finish. Don't talk over him. Let him finish.
I became a trans ally because now I understood it as best I'm capable of. Although I guess I learned more since then as well, but that got me down the road of being on the side of trans people. And so, I thought that'd be very relevant because I think a big part of the problem that people who are like trans deniers or doubters or have, again, just misconceptions and maybe not anti-trans, but they have these misconceptions. The best way to understand it is listen to a trans person. Don't make assumptions, and don't let someone who's not trans define for you what being trans means. And so I think that will be a good way to try to break through to the audience, because there's going to be some people who are going to come in who are doubters, who are have or do have some misconceptions, and this way they, and Heather's very open about this, and so this way they can actually listen to a trans person speak and say what it's all about. So I think that's good. I'm glad that you're getting back to MMC. I have a track record of being the highest revenue draw for that, and Doctors Without Borders. I beat Arn Ra. I beat Dawkins and several other people that you would expect to do better. I'm nobody, right? But I get these people that are with names, and I was able to. I did something similar with the Doctors Without Borders. I actually had a friend of my wife who actually would go on those missions and describe what the missions were like, and sometimes the conditions were good, sometimes they were terrible, but just kind of explaining, and people, I think, people really got a lot out of it. So that's number 2. Number 3, I wasn't here last month, so just a little health update for me. I think I may have mentioned in the previous one that I had been in a car accident. Took some damage. So since you've last seen me, I had 2.
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Now
I had 2 MRIs, one cervical, one lumbar. Both showed signs of damage. The cervical was worse. Apparently the equipment they used wasn't the best, so
I agree about Jimmy Sabo.
Hey, don't. Okay,
I don't give a fuck about Jimmy Sabo. Okay,
don't let him. Don't talk over people. Don't talk over people, especially for completely unrelated topics. Go ahead.
Yeah. So on the MRIs, they found masses on my spine, on the lumbar and cervical. They don't know what they are. They could be something as innocuous as water deposits or fat deposits. It could be as bad as cancer. So
just
I'm
herniated fat.
going to be scheduling those tests soon. They also gave me a CT scan, because a CT scan will give a better idea what those masses are. And part of the other problem I've been having is I've had balance problems. So I fell a few times, and that's made the situation worse.
Yeah.
So now my ability to stand up from a sitting position depends directly on how high my seat is.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking, I can really just shuffle now. So I'm in a bad way, and I've got a bunch of other things I won't get into, but
that all sounds quite familiar before I got my wheelchair, to be honest.
And so it's been a kind of a scary time, and but I always feel better with friendly people, because sometimes just letting it out, because it keeps you from wanting to pitch yourself off the nearest thing, although I probably couldn't reach it.
Mind you, I know he'll get to me eventually, but Jesus, suffering fuck.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can help? If you've got to go from me or something.
Not at this time. Right now, see, thankfully, the other person accepted responsibility for the accident.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they have the same insurance company as me, so I can't sue the insurance company. What they're doing is my insurance is covering it, and then anything that my insurance doesn't cover, the other person's insurance is supposed to cover. If I do want to sue, I'm going to have to sue the person directly, which the odds of actually getting anything out of that are very low.
Every time I learn something new about American insurance, the more it's like a fractal of bullshit.
Oh yeah. It's bad. It's
Well, and that's what's delayed everything, because since it was an automobile accident, my auto insurance is the primary, my health insurance is secondary. Excuse me. So every time the doctor ordered something, it had to get approved by the the automobile insurance company, and there's always a delay there. It took over a week to get the MRI approved. It took like a week and a half to get the PT approved. My PT ran out, and my doctor did write another script, but that was over a week ago.
Bless you.
And because of the holiday,
Yeah.
the auto insurance company has not responded either way.
Mm.
And so
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Sorry about that.
sleeping is horrible because there's literally one position I can get into where I'm not in agonizing pain. I was just in minor nagging pain in that spot. You know. But yeah, it is to me a total indictment. Plus the fact that the amount of time I had to spend pushing everybody around, like on other cases, regular injuries, somebody, the insurance company and the medical people, they would just do that on their own. But for this, I have to like get the results from one and send it to the other. So I've had to micromanage the whole project.
Yeah.
And it's just infuriating because it's like, what other than being, needing treatment for something, what the fuck do I have to do with the process? Why should I be involved with the process? And so that's why next motherfucker tries to tell me that, our situation is so great compared to Canada or UK or whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna punch him full in the fucking mouth.
Yeah, I know we have our problems, and I've had to wait 3 months, and I'm going to get an MRI scan for my back and my legs to see why I went from being, an able-bodied. I swam, I rode, I kind of did all kinds of things, and now I can barely stand up. And they would like to know why this is happening, although I don't think they'll find much.
Yeah.
Something's happened, and I don't know what it is. But they're going to do an MRI in a couple of months. They say, "Oh, should be fun." Just on my birthday, I betcha.
Like in the UK, sometimes you have to micromanage your doctors in a kind of similar way, where they're meant to write to each other, but it takes forever. So then you have to bring the information to them manually to get it faster. But all this stuff with the insurance on top, it just makes it so much worse. Like you don't want to have. It's already hard enough dealing with the actual medical problems. All the applications to insurance and talks of suing people. I got to admit, I'm not sure why being on the same insurance is worse. Like I would have assumed that would somehow make it easier. But
well, the reason why is because if just say the other person had their own insurance, then my insurance company would sue their insurance company, and so then they can get money out of it. But of course, they're not going to sue themselves.
The companies have to sue each other. I thought there was like a contract where they would just pay whatever in and out.
That's how it should work. If we're gonna have this shitty system where it's private insurance, like that's how it should work. That's not how it works.
There's dispute about, there's always like, okay, I claim I had X much pain and I lost this much work, and so the loss to my income was X dollars. And someone says, well, but did you really lose, were you really unable to work, or did you really, is that really the amount you lost, or are you,
So it's literally just a normal lawsuit for damages?
Yeah, so the problem is that no insurance companies actually want to pay, and they deny claims all the time. That's how they make their money, because most people give up. They don't realize they can appeal. They don't realize what avenues are available to them.
I knew that part, unfortunately.
Yeah. So they don't. And now the thing is too with my insurance company, since somebody else claimed responsibility, they're going to want to make them pay, not have them pay. They're not my own insurance company. They would only pay any difference. And of course, when you're suing like that, they're going to go for maximum money because the other insurance company has deep pockets. The individual, unless I got rear-ended by JP Gotrocks, they don't have a lot of money. So the chances of getting more than like $10,000-$15,000, which may not cover the outstanding bills at the end of the day, are very low.
Yeah.
So
that might not cover the cost of filing the lawsuit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let us know if you're going to start a GoFundMe. I'll see what I can put in.
Well, if I need it, like I'm holding off because
that's fair.
I know.
Most people I know are poor, so
but we should help we should help each other when we can, or what's the point?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Pay it forward.
But yeah, so that's why, Caitlin, is that is that it's going to be one big entity has a lot of deep pockets suing another another big entity with deep pockets. If it, so that's the problem. But if it's the same entity with deep pockets, again, they're not going to sue themselves. So
yeah,
like I said,
New insurance was mad, but I thought it was like Loki mad. And now I'm hearing it's like Joker mad.
No, it seems like it seems like every so often, at least once a year, usually even more frequently than that, there's some story on some major news outlet, whether it's like something on TV or on a website, that is it's always basically the same story, which is it's someone, either they or one of their kids was denied some necessary bit of medical care, or was denied the ability, the insurance company refused to pay it. And it's because there are people like Serious Mind said, like there are people that work for all these big insurance companies, and their only job is to find reasons why the insurance company doesn't have to pay it.
Well,
even though the whole reason you have the insurance in the first place is to pay for these things. But
like when my dad had insurance.
Well, about 20 years ago, I had to get a cardiac catheterization because they thought I had a malformation, a venous in utero malformation of congenital. That's the word I was thinking. Congenital malformation of my right coronary artery. It looked like the right coronary artery was twisted around the aorta, in which case, during times of heavy stress, the aorta and the pulmonary artery could swell, and they could cut you off, and then bye bye Joey. But so I was like, well, before you start chopping me open, you better make sure that there's absolutely nothing else you can do. So they sent me the cardiac cath. It got approved by the insurance company, and then they did the procedure, and then the insurance company rejected it. So
what's the point of prior authorization then?
Yes, I had prior authorization, but again, what happens, the doctor says, this is how it goes. They reject almost everything, even if they've already pre-approved it. We just have to go back on appeal, and it'll usually. And it happened recently with getting these scans. The doctor wanted these extra scans, and again, those black masses are obviously not related to the accident. They were just found because of the accident. And so at first, the insurance company was like, "Well, we're not going to pay for that because it's not related to the accident." They went back on appeal and got it. But I'm started getting letters now from my health plan because they want to make sure that they weren't put down as the primary coverage. And so I got to write back to them and say, no, you're secondary. So they won't pay. So first what will happen is my insurance will pay, her insurance will pay, and then my health insurance will pay. But so it's like billiards.
It's ridiculous.
Trying to catch up with the system.
It's ridiculous.
That's why Luigi did nothing wrong.
Right. I mean, I was never mad at him. I was never mad at him.
I was never mad at him.
Like my dad had health insurance. Unfortunately, when they put the catheter down his leg, the damage was too great, and they had to take his leg off below the knee. But the point of having the insurance was that I remember saying to the surgeon, well, what happens if you get him into theatre and the damage is too great? He says, well, we'll obviously have to take the leg off, but it won't be a problem. I mean, have you any idea how great that is to hear somebody go, it won't be a problem. Insurance covers this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, as far as my feeling about Luigi, I was not in favor of it because, I'm just generally not in favor of political violence. And but after what's happening to me, I'm like, those other people were probably right.
I won't do it, but
anyway, I was going to say, and I only didn't tell you this before the start because I was really worried that when I told Steve that my membership would probably lapse for a couple of weeks before I got all this sorted, I thought he'd take out a whip and go, "Be gone to the nethermost hell and never speak to me again." So I talked to a friend over Christmas.
Is this the same Steve?
Yeah, I know. I'm such a jerk about money and my members. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay up or get the fuck out.
I'm willing to tolerate some earning gig for you or me or something like that, but you be gone.
Get out of here.
Anyway, I have a friend who's a Mormon, or he was a Mormon. And we chatted on Facebook. He said, "What's your phone number?" So I gave him my new phone number, and he phoned me and I said, "So how'd you Christmas?" He said, "Oh, I spent it with my Uncle and Aunt." I said, "What, you didn't spend it with your parents?" He goes, "Well, I'm not really kind of on side with my parents. You're like this. I said, what happened? He said, well, you know how if you're a member of the Church of Latter-day Saints, you have to go on mission. And I said, you do? I said, yeah, you get sent to this place and you get trained up in the Bible. And then you go out in the world and you try and bring people to the Church of Latter-day Saints. He said, I didn't want to go on mission. I had no desire to bring people into the church. I was beginning to realize that the church was not a happy, skippy place. So he and two other of his mates, I don't know how they did it, they captured a squirrel. They captured a squirrel and they baptized it. And he got sent home. He got sent home in disgrace for not being the kind of person that the church wanted in
because according to the rules of the church, now when that squirrel dies, he gets his own planet.
Yes.
You know, and I mean that's now they have to give a whole planet to a squirrel. That's just not.
And you can imagine the intergalactic wars of the future with an army of a navy of squirrels going around trying to find nuts everywhere. It's horrible.
As far as I know, they didn't hurt the squirrel. I said, well, how the hell? Listen, me how did you get him into the cat box? I said, oh, we had some hazelnuts and we lured him in. I said, so you stood in the water. I said, oh, yeah, we were all roped up. We stood in the water and I'm holding the squirrel. And one of my mates is holding the squirrel. And then we just baptized it. And then we told the head of school, the head of the building, that we were baptizing a squirrel. And he came charging out and told us that we were no longer welcome in the Church of the Latter-day Saints. So he said, I get into a car. I said, I hire a rental car as I leave the building with my one case. And I said, and my parents are kind of, oh God, how could you do this? How could you shame us? He said, I'm going to stay with my uncle and aunt because they were, as far as I know, they're normal people. I've met his uncle and aunt. They're really nice people. I said, Greg, for the love of God, wasn't there a simpler way? And he said, I couldn't think of one at the time. My father was determined to send me on mission and I didn't want to go. And I said, I suppose you could have baptized a cat. And he said, yeah, there weren't any cats around, but there were loads of trees with squirrels. So we baptized the squirrel.
One real quick thing. When he said about intergalactic, I can't hear the word intergalactic anymore without thinking of the Beastie Boys.
I know, exactly. Intergalactic planetary. Yeah. All right. I want to get back to people who have hands up. Isaiah, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't want to say what I wanted to say after what Serious Mind was going through, because that would just be insensitive.
Okay. But I did. No. Look, if you got an issue, man, bring it up. It's that you somebody else is having an issue that's lesser than somebody else. It's not a contest, right?
Yeah.
So you bring up your issue.
It's not an issue. I just want to share something.
Share something cool. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go the Hangout after all.
I also bought this shirt for Christmas too.
Oh, hey,
that is cool.
The Voyager record. Yeah.
This is Pioneer.
Pioneer.
Yeah, it has the ship in the back. So
nice.
I bought that.
Nice.
I like it.
I still think it's the coolest thing that the Voyager record literally has a diagram.
Oh, absolutely.
How to we've literally carved the sound wave into this piece of metal. So if you just figure that out, then all the rest will be golden.
Yeah, exactly.
Caitlin, I don't know if you watch this guy often, but his name is Lemino, and he made like a 2-hour-long video about famous attempts to communicate across the cosmos. Maybe you should check that out.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. How's it spelled? Like you could put it in the chat or something.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, after all, how are the Space Squirrels going to know how to come back to Earth and conquer it? I mean,
exactly. They're going to forget after so many generations. They're going to lose.
You have all our nuts.
Winter is coming, planet Earth.
Yeah.
They fly away with their cheeks stuffed full.
Quite frankly, I'd be very happy for aliens to come and conquer us because they can't do any worse than we've done to ourselves.
That's true.
I saw a meme. I think I saw it on Thread. Somebody said it was like, aliens say, we've killed all your leaders. And people are like rejoicing. And the aliens are like, like, we didn't expect this.
Conquering Aliens, Beast Wars was my first Transformers because I'm a 90s baby. And then when all the later shows started being based more on the first generation of Transformers, I was so confused because I'd only ever known them working in the Beast Wars way, right?
Yes. Right. Why is he a truck all of a sudden?
All right, that's a good segue to now the next hand in the succession. Nick Anderson, you have a point to make.
I shared it both to UK and to everyone on the.
There we go. Yeah,
okay, shooting at the stars, the history of intro messages. Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Nick Anderson.
Nick, go for it.
Okay. So I love when fictional universes get so far up their own ass that is like the whole thing the universe is about. Like Pokemon. All anybody wants to do in the Pokemon world is, train Pokemon. You even go to school to learn how to be a Pokemon trainer. Yu-Gi-Oh! There are freaking schools where you learn to be better at this children's card game.
Card games on motorcycles, death races while you're also playing a card game.
Because every freaking dispute in this world is settled with this card game. Anytime there's a toy,
if you beat the cops at the card game, the cops' motorbikes stall, and then you can get away, and it's fine because you won, so it's justified.
It's legal.
So anyway, another example, Kingdom Hearts. So 99% of the time they bring up hearts in those games. They're not talking about the literal organ. They're talking about the glowing ball of light thing that you can just pull out of somebody and turn them into a heartless monster. So in Kingdom Hearts 3, when the bad guys of Kingdom Hearts cross over with Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and they hear about Davy Jones, they're like, wait, so this guy took out his own heart and put it in a box and didn't transform into a heartless monster? Oh, we've got to investigate this. And then when they see the thing, like, wait, what the fuck is that gross squishy thing? Wait, that's his heart? No. I meant the glowy thing, his heart. And I love when there's like this breakdown in communication just because a world works so differently than ours. Anyway,
I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
Words. The emotional heart is a different word than the organ. So I imagine outside of the translation, it was a little slightly clearer, probably.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
As soon as you said like franchises that get, disappear up their own asses, I guess it's because I just finished watching the new episodes, but the first thing that came to mind was Stranger Things when you said that, because I was watching the most recent 3 episodes that they dropped on Christmas, and I think it's in the last one where there's a shot where it's like there's 10 characters and they're all like on their way from one location to another and they're just moving in like this little mini herd, and I'm like, this has gotten out of hand. Like, this has gone on way too long. Now that we've got like a dozen people that are just kind of, okay, let's all go to the next place, and they're just kind of shuffling together. It's like, this is fucking ridiculous. They should have been killing these people this whole time.
I remember when I was looking up ancient after the what's his name? William the Conqueror. And they set up a set of taxes. If a Norman was killed in a village, the village had to pay something called the murderum tax. And I have visions, and I'm sure it happened because I've got records of it, of people finding dead bodies in their village, wrapping them up in blankets, and carrying them to the next village and dumping them because they didn't want to pay these 60 silver pennies for the murderum tax. And I've got visions of this body going round and round and round because nobody wants to pay the tax. Nobody's going to claim responsibility until the body's nothing, and eventually some poor sod who finds the bones and goes, oh, for fuck's sake, and just digs a hole and throws them in.
I'm sorry to say I wasn't done, but I'm trying so hard not to talk over anybody.
I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So a week ago, I saw the new Blue People movie, and I loved it. I think it's the best one so far. It's unhinged, like in the best way. But I don't want to say much with it because I can't without like spoiling it. I'll just say it has like the highest highs, like the most emotional scenes. It adds the most depth to the characters. And look, I've always thought that this series had a good story and good characters. When people say it has bad writing, I don't know what they mean because I'm like, what you talk about? This is how cringy people sound in real life to me.
No, true.
But one of my favorite things about this movie is that I can see it. You know, like so many movies and shows now, they're so dark and the color grading is bad.
Oh God,
they just look like flat and tacky, and the characters are always mumbling their lines, so you can't see. So you need subtitles. And here's a movie I can see it even during the nighttime scenes. I can clearly hear what the characters are saying most of the time. And I'm like, they don't make movies like this anymore. What happened?
No.
Even new 4K scans of things that were shot on film, they bring it down the darkness, and it's harder to see the shadows. And it's like, why?
It's so frustrating. It's gotten so bad that like when I mean, I haven't seen the new Avatar. I'm glad to hear that. I would have expected it would be like that because Cameron is a very meticulous filmmaker and he's not going to put out a subpar product.
No, true.
But like, I mean, anytime I see a new movie where there are nighttime scenes or dimly lit scenes where you can actually see what's going on, it's like I say a little prayer of gratitude to the God I don't believe in. I'm like, oh, somebody still knows how to light a fucking movie so that the scene is dark, but you can still see what's going on, so you can follow what's happening in the scene.
I like movies, so that's something for me to shoot for, because I hate how new movies are lit too. It's like it's so dark and it's so you can't see anything. Like what's going on?
I think part of the problem.
It's not just that, Isaiah. It's this constant. We're going to tell you what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen, and I want to scream.
Yeah.
Even I had it with my first
but that's a
romance
writing
novel.
issue. That's not really a lighting
Yeah,
issue.
but I had it with my first romance novel when.
Hang on, before we go too far off track. Joe was trying to say something.
Yeah.
So I think the part of the problem is that most of the filmmakers think the audience is stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like,
they're also told by the corporations to make it suitable for people to scroll Twitter or Facebook.
I was going to say that.
That's the thing. You're not actually supposed to watch
hang on.
these.
Okay, wait.
You're supposed to be on your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing
writing for the
is
second
that,
screen. Go ahead, Joe.
Is that so? They make it super dark. It's like, oh, this is dark. Remember, you got to notice it's dark. If we don't tell you explicitly that this is a dark thing, you won't know because you're a fucking moron. Because you came to our shitty movie, and that's proof right there that you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, but I think there's also a technical aspect to this, and maybe that people haven't adjusted. Like we now have like Super 8, 12K, 15K stuff. If you've seen, for example, people update older stuff from the 90s, which are CRT, into modern TVs, you get to see a lot of detail because the point of view is larger. So you see that guy with a light going like this. It's like, we shouldn't be seeing that guy. Sorry, got this.
No, you're
and
hang on, let him finish.
Having worked on Hollywood sets and stuff, and I still have people that I keep in touch with. I just want to emphasize, LL is right. This is more an issue of technology and not knowing how to use it on set. We're not using the same lighting technology on set anymore. In many cases, it's doing a lot of this stuff is being done digitally, and then the lighting is then corrected in post instead of doing that with primary with first shooting. Right, we're doing a lot of the lighting and stuff in post, and then that is then sent on the media to the theater to the theaters, and then to streaming. On streaming, you're never going to get like the correct lighting. I've tried with my home theater at home, and it is a case of technology. It really, really is a case of technology. There are some directors like the Toro who understand the technology almost intuitively, and so his films are beautifully lit. They're beautifully lit, even though they are dark, gothic themes to them. They're beautifully lit because he understands the technology. I know with some BBC programming, when they do like Tudor shows or whatever, I think it was like Becoming Elizabeth or whatever. At first, it felt dark, but they were trying to go for realistic lighting. So, as if you were there, sort of. But most of the case, this is technology. This is people playing with CG. This is people playing with all sorts of like software resources after principal photography, and the results are very meh, or you feel like you have to carry a flashlight into the theater so you can like see what's
it's not
going
gonna
on.
help.
All right, I'm gonna shut up.
Hang. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay.
It's like
hang on. Kara, wait. Let him finish his point. Go ahead.
He's right. The principal photography has to be the raw footage has to be good. For example, you can use techniques like, oh, it's more darker now to do the whole chiaroscuro thing where you emphasize faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you gotta set it up ahead of time, right? And also, if you're using a lot of virtual backgrounds as well, you have to color mat and mix it right so that you don't have the outlines of the old outlines. Like, oh, that's CGI because that person has the outline. It's a lot of little things you have to gradiate. So the raw footage has to be good. You have to reshoot it in a way that you know that's going to be digitized later. And then you have to have the constant conversation from the editors and post-editing so that everything blends. So you got to have the director do extra work. Instead of saying like used to be.
Everyone has to be on the same page.
You hand over to the editor. Oh, I trust you. I work with you. Go ahead and do your thing.
It's
you gotta
why, although it's terrified me all my life, at least once a year I try and watch The Wicker Man, the original, not that terrible Nicolas Cage.
I mean, I think there's a case to be made for both versions, but
but yeah,
I like the original too, though.
Because the original is that building sense of menace, that building sense of he stepped into something he doesn't know. He's constantly told you can't land here when he lands his plane. He's constantly told you can't come here. He's constantly told don't come onto the island, and he ignores all of it and is then killed for it. But as Christopher Lee said, when someone said, but oh God, Lord Summerisle, he says, but you're a horrible. I says, no, I'm a person who is a pragmatist. I'm someone who has seen what a sacrifice will do for my island, and the flowers and the fruits will bloom again. And this is what we have to do. And yes, it is horrible, but it's also really, really interesting. And they don't explain everything at every bloody. Sorry, don't swear, Karen. Don't swear.
The other thing too about going along with what Edie said is that they are playing around with technology that a lot of them don't understand. Because here's the thing, like, okay, it's different for a movie theater where you have a big giant screen, but when you're talking about a home screen, quite frankly, and this is physiology. It's physiology and physics, has nothing to do with filmmaking or anything else. Most people cannot discern the difference between 4K and 19:2. The reason why is because you see so many arc seconds, and so depending on how far you're sitting from the screen, how large the screen is, most people just are physiologically not capable of really discerning the distance unless you have a big gigantic TV that you're sitting just the right distance. And so now with 8K, it's even more ludicrous because nobody can tell the difference between 4K and 8K on a regular TV, even like a 50, 60-inch TV. It's physically impossible. And this has nothing to do with the technology, but and this has gone back for ages. They keep
a lot of stuff is still shot at 2K even.
They keep even upping the numbers because people they don't know what the numbers mean, but they know in their heart bigger number is better. The same thing with color. Now they're going to 48K scanners and larger, and it's like, again, there's only so many colors the human eye can discern. So it's good to go a little bit past that, because if you're doing image manipulation, you'll lose some resolution and you lose some color.
Yeah, like if a scene is shot with like all just red light, you need all the shades of red, equivalent to like a black and white. Otherwise, you get lots of banding.
That's right. But what's funny is they do this, but then the scanners are like 300 DPI, 600 DPI, so that minor differences in shade, even if the computer can render them, you can't tell the difference because they're too close. and the pixels are too small. So it's just, but again, it's we got to keep making that number bigger for the sake of making the number bigger. And if someone's been programming for 30 years, more than 30 years, it drives me fucking insane.
But and I'll say this very quickly, so because Eddie and other people have their hands up, so I know that. The thing is, there's an effect I call the back of the mind or the back of the head effect, where you can't tell up front what's going on, but your mind either convinces itself that something is off, maybe because some technique has been done well, but you don't understand what's going on. So talk about the reds, the different shades of red. When you mix it, say, with green or blue, you get a darker shade, or etc. If you don't do it right, it just feels awful, feels off, even though you can't tell because it's a gazillion Ks of resolution. Like, you don't know the difference up front, but the back of your mind going like, that shade is not right, but I don't know, I don't have the language for it, so it just feels off, right? So Eddie.
Yeah, Edie, go for it.
Edie, sorry.
Hey guys, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
First of all, out here on the West Coast, it's been Jesus. It's been the longest year. This month has been the longest year ever, for real. So, but yeah, happy holidays. I have a job. I'm employed. I'm making more money than ever. It's kind of crazy, and I'm still not happy. What is
you mean money isn't making you happy?
I'm literally swimming in money. I'm literally swimming in money. But the thing is that you remember, oh yeah, the world is on fire. So just because you're swimming in money means nothing. So there's that. My one thing is that I wanted, because this is Steve's show, they already shot up, well, that doesn't sound right. They already closed the shooting with Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's going to be really interesting to look forward to, because Paramount is turning into a turd. And we had that delightful conversation with Rod Roddenberry, which I think I was shaking my fist the entire time when he had that interview with I think it was Culture Study, some like the Trek channel, Trek fan channel.
Yeah.
So I wanted to poke your brain about that, and if you had seen that interview with Rod.
I haven't seen the Rod Roddenberry interview. What were some of the things that he mentioned?
Oh, he was very so they were discussing artificial intelligence, or as I like to call it, large language models. And using that for basically the old toy model, and using the older actors or images or facsimile images of the older actors for any future Trek projects. And as a person who likes the old toy company and what they're able to do, this kind of made me mad, because it's one thing to do like things with the living actors or with the estate of the actors who explicitly said it's fine, it's okay, don't worry about it, I'm dead, you can use my image. But for the other folks, and it feels like they don't have confidence, or at least Rod doesn't have confidence in what Trek can do in storytelling. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he would be in favor of it, because Roddenberry.com and like the Roddenberry sort of company that he is involved with, they're working hand in hand with the Otoy stuff. So like, it doesn't surprise me that he would say, yeah, we should do more of this. but yeah, I mean, if they if they didn't
I don't know if you can see
if
him.
they
He's being
didn't
difficult.
if they didn't cast new actors to play, you know, established characters once the original actor was no longer available or was no longer in the right age bracket or whatever, you know, we wouldn't have Anson Mount as Captain Pike. We'd have some CGI monstrosity of Jeffrey Hunter playing Captain Pike. And you will never convince me that that would be better. I mean, there are.
Wait, Steve, you mean this huge soulless corporation doesn't act like actual Star Trek people?
I know, right? Well, I mean,
it's really weird because, to not interrupt, but just to add, it's really weird because he's saying that at the same time that we have this Paramount Sundance deal here, which, you know, a couple of my friends got laid off because of that merger, and it's really crazy because it's like, on the one hand, and to add, didn't we look at the original series and see at least a couple of episodes kind of warning us about this sort of thing? Like,
yes,
telling us this sort of thing is kind of bad.
Yeah, and not just in Star Trek, in all kinds of sci-fi. Like, it's been a repeated theme of like, don't let machines take the place of human beings. This is not a good thing.
The worst of it is, though, is that yes, part of it is the big soulless capitalist organization. That's a big part of it. But also because our society is so stuck on nostalgia that we can't accept the idea that some things end. And that's why, you know, Straczynski's been trying to work on a reboot for Babylon 5. I hope it never happens.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, because quite frankly, the Babylon 5 that I had was amazing. It's my favorite TV show of all time. Yeah. And so I don't, you know, it would be lovely if the original actors were all alive and all the right age to do stuff.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But they're not. And so instead of, because it's funny because the people that are really for it, they think that they're going to like just redo the Babylon 5 series. I'm like, well, why would we do that? We have it.
It's there. Yeah. Well, I mean, the example I always think of when the question comes up of like, you know, digitally just, you know, recreating the original actor in a younger age or whatever, like they did with Shatner and Nimoy for the Otoy thing.
Lump of kind of, sorry, I've got a cat. I've got a cat who's determined to be part of the chat.
Okay.
And
hi, kitty. Okay.
His
anyway,
name's Fan. We're thinking of Satan or Beelzebub.
Tell the cat to go away.
These guys can have a side chat.
Yeah. So anyway, the CGI Peter Cushing in Rogue One.
Yeah,
and also
that was creepy.
And the CGI Carrie Fisher, which is like which is like the last shot, and it's like, oh, don't do this. Like, if you really, really need to bring back old characters,
what's the matter?
Like, just cast a new actor. The guy they actually cast to play Tarkin in Rogue One.
Oh no!
Look, is in the ballpark. Like, looks enough like Peter Cushing that they could have just let him play it. They didn't have to do like a creepy CGI face mask to try and convince us that it was really the same. Like, what is the point of that? Everybody knows it's not Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing is dead. That's not, just cast another actor and let the other actor play it themselves.
That's the fact with Carrie Fisher. They had an opportunity to kill her off in the previous movie. That actually would have been, which could have been, because she was not a thing that blew up, and then somehow magically she's alive.
She Peter Panned back into the ship, which I love. I love that movie, but that is the dumbest part of that movie. And I think a lot of it is the way they shot it. They shot her like Peter Pan, like pointing and flying in. It's like, oh, don't do it
if
like
they
that.
had just had her die then, because the actress had already died.
Yeah,
they could have just done a tribute to her, and now doing it.
Yeah,
but then they waited to kill her off the next film.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's to me, I was just kind of like, on the one hand, not surprised, but on the other hand, very surprised as someone who grew up with watching, the original series and seeing these actors actually age. And I always thought it was great, and especially now that I'm at mid-age, I always thought it was great. They didn't try to like hide their aging. And when you've worked in this business and seen like amazing creative people and they age and they like come into different facets of their human experience and bring that sense of mortality being all the more important, that we take care of each other and tell these stories. I was disappointed, I have to say.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, these characters, like Captain Kirk doesn't exist. Captain Kirk is a fictional character. And the only reason why we care about Captain Kirk is because talented artists have brought him to life. So if you're going to prioritize this, well, we can use digital technology and just put William Shatner's, 35-year-old head on a different actor's body, and it'll be just like he's playing Captain Kirk again. But like, to what end? That's if you want to cast a new actor to play Captain Kirk, just do that and let them play it.
Yeah.
You don't need to paste the original actor's face onto the new, like that. That's not what this is. Like, that's not art. That's not. No.
Like you said, Steve, it's just fan wank, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's insulting to aging people.
True. Yeah, it is.
It truly is.
Yeah,
it truly is.
Put that down or not?
As someone who just turned 57, I'm very acutely aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's, hang on, one more point, and then I'll let you go, Geek, and then we'll get through the hands. But yeah, I mean, I saw an interview with George Clooney a little while ago about his movie that just came out on Netflix, Jay Kelly, which is really good. And there are scenes in that movie where you see like a younger version of George Clooney's character, and they cast a younger actor to play him. There's like a younger actor who plays the younger version of George Clooney. And I saw an interview with him where they actually asked him, they said, was there any, like, what did you think about having a younger actor play you, 30 years ago, instead of doing like a de-aging thing? And I just thought, what a weird, like, how weird that they even have to ask that question. That we would even be in a situation now where it's like, well, did you have like serious discussions when you were talking about making the movie, whether they would just hire another actor to play you 30 years ago, or they would digitally, de-age you?
But the actor's not playing him 30 years ago. The actor is playing a character that he's playing now 30 years prior.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
weird.
It's really,
Sorry.
yeah. Anyway, okay, Geek. Yeah, well, let's get through we still have people with hands up. So
don't worry.
Go for it,
I'm just gonna be quick. I'm just gonna say, please give money to my friends. I'm just gonna copy and paste the links down into like the chat right now. Phoenix wants to like get their like coffee gold like paid off, and because like they have like so many like behind overdue bills that they haven't like paid off because like they don't have income except for a temporary disability assistance program and like whatever money she gets from like food stamps, and like her apartment's taken care of with like Section 8 voucher, but I think she still has to make some payments on that as well too. Joanna Roberts, like the only income she gets is like $1,000 a month for like SSDI. That's not nearly enough to like pay for like everything and to feed her transcendent son. Joy Lame is kind of tight on money, so like they need money as well too. And my friends Nasneka and Lennon Quinn always have pass their hat around, so like please like give them money if you're able to. And just pick one of them if you can only afford to like give money to like one person as well too. You can divide if you want to, pick and choose, but like any amount helps. And of course like sharelinks.page, and I did add your friend's GoFundMe for her cancer thing in the Cherry Links page as well too.
Yeah.
Now Isaiah,
my friend, go for it.
Yeah, so I'll make it real quick. It's actually referring to Edie. I don't know if I said her name right.
You did.
So she's in filmmaking or something comparable. Is that what I'm getting?
I was in film for 10 years. I was in film for 10 years. I was Grip.
Okay.
So that's
Cool.
someone who does basically the electrics and cable
Yeah,
and
I
assists
know.
with lighting. And then now I'm in IT, and I've been in IT for almost 15 years, and I still have friends who are in film.
I was just saying because I graduated with a certificate in video production and design, but I live in Tallahassee, Florida, so it's not a lot of those jobs around here. And like, like everyone else, I'm just doing a job just to get by. Do you have like any advice for me?
You have to move out of Tallahassee, Florida. And I'm being absolutely, I don't mean to be snarky. You have to, so back in the 90s, and I'm gonna make this super quick. Back in the 90s, actually in the mid to late 80s until about the 2000s, a number of states had these tax incentives to have the movie industry do outside filming and principal photography in those states. And Florida was one of them. Florida is one of them. Georgia is one of them. Georgia has the most successful tax incentive for the film industry. Oregon has them, and I live in Oregon now. BC, which is British Columbia, and Ottawa have really big incentives, and they are not part of the United States. They are part of Canada, but they have very similar tax incentives, but they're huge. So you had various productions filming outside of California. So you would get cast in California, you would get your jobs in California, and then you would set it up with your union so that you're local in different states or even in Canada, depending on the union and depending on what you do. And you're basically a medicant. You're traveling from job to job to job, and you're making your residence either California, or you're making your residence like either Ottawa or BC. And so that you're local to those places so that you can get on jobs. Florida has Disney. Florida has some of their specials done at the various Disney theaters in Orlando. But for the most part, you do have to get out of Florida. You do need to come to California. It's maybe New York, and of the two, because you're a warm climate southern person, California would probably be better. And you will need to save a lot of money, even more so than when I was working in the 2000s, to be there. And once you get to the West Coast, then you start working on smaller productions. You build up a portfolio so that you can get yourself on a set, and the set is most likely not going to be in California. It's going to be someplace else because of those tax incentives. So unfortunately, you have to move from where you are, and you have to make that leap. So
well,
my name is Edith Spencer, and go ahead and reach me on LinkedIn, and I can kind of give you like a more detailed blow by blow. But essentially, that's literally how I got into it. My degree is not in video production at all. I have a dual degree in philosophy of science and in biology. But I did multimedia installations at my college in Wisconsin. I took that as my portfolio when I decided to come to California. I was only going to do this for a couple of years. It wound up being a decade, and it taught me a lot. And you know, one of the things it taught me was that at a certain point, you get to 30. Well, for me, I got to 30, 33, and you know, the same age as Christ when he was crucified. And I decided, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I want stability. But it was fun for the decade that I did do it. So for anyone who is thinking that they want to do this, I will say if you're under the age of 45 and you have good health, go ahead and do it. And it's not necessarily in front of the camera, because I will tell you this, it's the back of the camera jobs that keep you employed, and they are fun.
Right. Yeah, it's just that I don't have a lot of money right now, and I just don't, cause like and like I would make that jump, but I just don't have a lot of safety nets. So if I make that jump,
that's the thing. That's the real. That's kind of like a filter. You know, that's kind of like a filter. Is that LA now? LA was expensive but doable when I was younger. Because I'm a few years older than Steve. I'm 49. So I was younger and LA was cheap, way cheaper. Like for someone who grew up in New York, and when I got there, I was surprised at how, as long as I had a car and as long as I was sharing an apartment, I was fine. These days, LA is horrifyingly expensive. It's expensive for the working class people who live there. It's expensive for the rest of California.
that's why that's why when you said Georgia, like Atlanta, like I'm only like 5.5 hours from Atlanta, from town.
So that is now, I would say that is now kind of like the second Hollywood, the true second Hollywood, because so many productions are there.
There are a ton of productions in Atlanta right now.
Yeah. And so that would be a second thing to do, but you have to get out of Florida. You have to.
Well, it's also Florida, so yeah.
But and it's Florida, yeah. Okay. Oh, hang, Isaiah. I don't want to. Isaiah, I don't want to. I hate to cut you off, but I want to. We have 3 more people with their hands up, and I want to end the show before.
Before, is Ellie on social media? Because I want to know if we can network better.
Find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. I don't really do much on Instagram, but I do, because I'm a sysadmin, I do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. And find me on LinkedIn, and I would be more than happy to put together like a guide for you and some possible links.
Okay, so I do a lot of set design and models. I don't know if that's needed these days.
Okay. Just maybe exchange information in the meeting chat.
In the chat. In the chat.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. 3 hands left. We can do this. Nick, go for it.
I actually wasn't done before, but I hate cutting in and talking over other people, so I'm just gonna save my thoughts for next time. I've written them down. Just next month.
Great. All right. Okay. Jason, at long last, your hand's been up for a while. Go for
it. Have you noticed the background, Steve?
Oh yeah, wrestling.
Yeah, it's GTS Wrestling. If anybody knows Grimm's Toy Show, that's what it's based on. It's my universe mode. Because I'm a subscriber to GTS, Silly Super Pop. And I said to Grimm, I'm doing it as a respect to you. So with a tablet and a PS5, I've created all the stars that are there, past and present. But I'm not able to create the new ones because, you know, I'm not that technical. I don't have a PC. So I do a show every week or 3 or 4 episodes. I've asked permission to use the music, and Grimm says, yeah, do that. But do your own intro. I'm no good with intros, so that's it. And I did try creating you for 24. If you go into playlist, you'll see you wrestling on the show and some other people. But that's GTS, and it's
That's
a
cool.
thank you to them, and it's to say to all GTS fans and wrestling fans, watch this show. You've got to be over 15 because I don't want people under the age of 15 watching it, because Grim does actually curse on his actual show when he's, when wrestling's happening.
That's cool. All right, Caitlin, you get to close us out. Go for it.
And you have a guitar now as well.
Yeah.
I was occupying myself while I was listening
Intriguing.
to you.
Wait, it's important to keep busy while you're waiting for your chance to talk in these things.
Mm-hmm. Since it's been a little while since I've been to one of these, and other people were talking about how their life was going and how their politics was going, I thought I feel weird closing off saying this, but 2025 was kind of rough. Like, I don't know how many of you's heard, but there was a court ruling in the UK that said trans people are legally their birth sex for various purposes.
That is wrong.
In the summer, there were talks of various disability benefits cuts. And in a personal note, I had a tooth rotting away in my mouth and I couldn't find a wheelchair accessible dentist to get it removed until the autumn.
Jesus.
So it was quite rough for the whole year, but it's been picking up since the autumn for me personally and in general, because there's been some employment tribunals where a few so-called gender critical, because they literally got turf made, they slur against a protected belief in law. It's a religious slur now to call someone. There was a few employment tribunals where they complained about a trans person sharing a changing room. And thankfully, in both cases, the tribunals said, actually, it's fine they were in the changing room because you were the only complaint out of all the other women at your company, and you had an option available on the other side of the building to change in, and the complaints were saying, well, but the trans person should have gone and changed in that bit. And they're like, well, it's kind of the only, it did set a slight precedent where if more people had complained, it might have been different, but because they were the only one, the judge was just like, you should have gone changed in this other room yourself if you're really that uncomfortable. So that's been a little bit of a bright spot. And I've also been getting my sleep in order and working out. I lift like 25 pounds now, which is helpful for the wheelchair. Makes doing things easier and stuff like that. So a silver lining to the cloud of 2025.
I hope things continue to get better. For everybody.
For
you specifically, but for everybody.
The thing is, Dharma has made some wildly stupid proclamations. He's cut the winter fuel tax, which is a big thing in the UK. Then he turned around and said, and then he had, because he was in the DPP, Department of Something Prosecutions, said, oh no, and supported this idea that trans people are the gender they're born with and can't change it. So he supported that. Then he had to do a real kind of backtrack of cycling back and go, well, maybe not. And maybe we should restore the winter fuel thing. And maybe I should talk to the farmers. And maybe I should do this. And you're standing there and you're sitting there thinking, are you completely nuts or is it just me?
They're such mealy mouth little cowards. Like, just take a stand. Don't worry about oh gee, I don't know. Are people okay with this or not? It's like, just do what the right thing is.
And this is one of the reasons why the right wing, both here in the UK, win as often as they do, even though they never should, because the right wing is never bashful about what they do. They just fucking do it. And so people see like the Democrats here and Labor over there, and they go, well, what the fuck are you standing for? What are you fighting for? I mean, you say you are. And look, I get right now that, and it's one thing I kind of admonish people is like, okay, here in the U.S., the Democrats have no power in legislatively. They have none. But still, you still can go out there and reinforce what you're fighting for and say, hey, we're not going to support this because it's for this reason. We are going to support this for that reason. But they're too, like you said, mealy mouth And yes, Starma, basically that's what's going to happen now is just because Starma has been so terrible. They're going to get stories back. So after 14 years of waiting to get back in, the guy's fucking useless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then people are just going to go back the other way.
As somebody pointed out that I watch his broadcast, he said the problem with Starmer and all his cronies, they all think, oh, all the people out there who vote exactly the same way I do. They won't be influenced by their own thoughts and feelings. The simple fact is that people don't all vote the same way. People look at what he's doing and go, you're completely nuts. We're picking somebody else. And this is why he's allowed a loophole for Farage and possibly for the Green Party.
Yeah.
It's just milquetoast centrism, really.
Yeah.
But on a non-political note, to end things with, there was the discussion about cameras and lighting and, you know, technology and resolution, but it's also just the increase in light sensitivity. I've got some friends who are lighting directors, and where the problem used to be bouncing enough light onto the actors' faces, now the problem is avoiding unwanted light spill. So they underlight everything, block things off with like cards for shadows, and then they can also see on the screen like, oh, the camera can just barely see it and won't have any weird other lights coming around the corners, so we'll shoot with that. And that's why it all looks so flat, because they could turn the exposure down and light it brighter, then that would cost them more money to run the light.
Yes.
It just all intersects into this weird diffuse flat look on everything. And it kind of reminds me of the early days of stereo, where everything was ping-ponging back and forth. Because we've got this dynamic range now, and instead of using it in an artistic way, they're just saying, oh, we can get the bare minimum with less lighting now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay, I am calling an end to the festivities. Thank you all so much for being with me. Thank all of you who have been watching for watching, and happy holidays to everybody. And we'll do this again next month. So
by
take
the 25th.
The 25th. All right.
How much just sorted out my membership again?
Right. Bye, everybody.
Networks.
Bye, Steve.
Bye.